Hey everybody, it's the Eclectic Handyman here today looking at these Craftsman made in the USA. New older stock except for one or two, 3/8 inch 6-point deep sockets. I want to get this set built out and organized. I've got these magnetic Aries socket holders. We'll get those out of the package. We're going to go through and look at the part numbers and get this build out going. Let's check it out. All right, so this right here is my original Craftsman made in the USA starter set. I don't remember exactly how many sockets, wrenches, and pieces came with it, but many of you have probably seen this same hard plastic molded style case. And what you would do is just open up the side here and you would have an array of sockets. In this case, these are the 3/8 inch 6-point sockets, the standard size set that I'll be working with today. So I'll go ahead and grab these. Now what's remaining over there for some time in the future are 1/4 inch deep sockets. These are also 6-point sockets. The other side has the metric over there. All of these pieces have already been put into my toolbox, like the wrenches and the extensions, and then of course the standard size sockets. All right, now that we've got all the sockets here and ready to organize, let's take a look at one of our Craftsman catalogs. This one's from 2005, 2006. I like this particular catalog because it has a lot of the part numbers for USA products before they were being imported. So it's a good reference to get exactly what I need. So let's get to that page. All right, and here it is. So what I want to look for to see what we do and don't have that was available. All right, so zooming in here, let's take a look at deep depth 3/8 inch standard sockets in the 6-point set. I happen to know that what I pulled out of that box was 3/8 inch all the way to 3/4 inch. That means I don't have these next four in line, the 13/16, 7/8, 15/16, and 1-inch socket. These would have either been in larger sets or open stock. Now, I do happen to know I've gone ahead and picked up the 15/16 as a little bonus. This was one of the sockets that was gently used, so it's not completely new older stock, but I do have that one. So there'll be 3 other in future videos, probably eclectic hauls, that I'll end up getting the 13/16, 7/8, and 1-inch. All right, let's move down to the deep depth 3/8 inch metric sockets. All right, what's available in the 6-point goes from 9mm all the way to 19mm. Now, what I pulled out of that starter kit box that I showed was not the complete set, but a great news was that when I opened that $120 box of Craftsman tools, which I'll leave a link up here, I did get additional 6-point sockets. So I do have everything from 9 to 19mm. Now, a few of you out there that are hardcore Craftsman USA fans know that there are some rare sockets in the wild that go above 19mm 6-point in the 3/8 inch. They've pulled a hefty price on eBay in the past, and it's not unlike the 20mm 3/8 inch socket that's very rare that I got and have reviewed on the channel. I'll leave another link for that up here. So some of these deep depth sockets that go above 19 are also rare. So if you have those, A+, maybe someday I'll be able to pick some of those up myself and check those out. But for today, we've got this set right here. All right, let's go ahead and get these Aries magnetic socket holders out of these Amazon bags. All right, so I like these Aries magnetic socket holders because they kind of, suction down via the magnetic bottom. I have these same ones for my 1/2-inch deep sockets, Craftsman made in the USA, that have the markings on them. These do not, so they're a little bit more open to the sizes that you end up using. So what do we have here? 3, 6, 9, 12. So it looks like we've got the ability to put 12 sockets in there. All right, going ahead and getting organized here. We've got our metric sockets and our standard sockets. So in the 1/2 inch magnetic, the black was for metric and the red was for standard. So if we're gonna go ahead and start with the metric, let's start with the smallest one, which happens to be the 9mm, and that is Craftsman, made in the USA. So we've got a G1 series right here, and that indicates for anybody that's new to the channel, this manufacturer code indicates where it was made and the date range for the because lots of different manufacturers made the tools on behalf of Craftsman USA. So we've got the smallest one here, 6-point. Now they do make some 12-point sockets. So maybe you ask, well, you had 12-point in the 1/2 inch. Why don't you have 12-point in the 3/8 since they make that as well? And you also could ask, how about just using deep impact sockets? Because if you've watched the channel, you know I picked these up some a little bit ago. Now the deal with this is this goes from 10mm to 19mm, and there is a skip in here. There's no 16mm, so it gets the majority. And indeed, they are very nice. They're 6-point as well, but you just don't get the number of sizes quite like you do with the traditional socket. So yes, you can go this route if you want to save and double up. So that's another option. But I went with 6-point because that's what I have. I don't think I'll build out the 12-point set. I have so many sockets at this point, but we'll see. Right now, I just wanted to get some 3/8 inch in the toolbox. Again, starting with that 9. And the next one. Now, admittingly, when I started this video, I said all new older stock, with the exception of a couple. This one I cannot claim to be new older stock because I pulled this from that hard molded case many, many moons ago, as you would expect, and this has got a lot of mileage on it, but in pretty good shape for the amount that I've used it. But it didn't take me long working on whatever was wherever I lived to say I need a deep 10mm socket, and so I dug it out and I have that one. All right, next up, oh, by the way, the part number on that one, because somebody might want to pick this up individually, is 44426. Now oftentimes these numbers will be sequential, sometimes they'll have skips, but we'll check it out. All right, next up we've got the 11mm. And this, they should be mostly, now this one is actually manufacturer code G2, and this is part number 44427. And then we should find the 12mm if my eyes are doing me right and I'm picking them out in the right size since I don't have them in order yet. Let's see what manufacturer code we have on this one. We've got a G1 and the part number is 44428. Excellent. And then the next one is a 13mm, manufacturer code G1 as well, 44429. Then we've got the, see here, oh, that's the 14. What was that? That was, sorry, that's the 13. Yes, so we are on 14mm right here. This is G1, manufacturer code 44431. Now we should be up to the 15mm. This is G1 as well, 44432. You can see how nice those trays are, by the way. I mean, just like plop, and it's nice. I mean, they're easy to pull out, but these trays, the idea here, it looks like the exception of the small one, you know, you can kind of see that they don't really have that much movement. I think they're about 10,000 times easier than socket rails, yet they do well still with space savings. So it's pretty nice. Now I will say that if you find a rail that has the actual sizes, the circumference there might be a little bit more in tune with the size of the socket, but since this is open-ended, that's what you end up having. All right, next up, we've got the 16mm Series G1, manufacturer code, 44433. Then we have the 17mm right here. This is a G2, 44434. We have the 18mm, and this is Series G2, part number 44435. And then finally, the 19 millimeter. I'm almost positive this came from that $120 box. That was not in the kit that I have. This is a G2 44436. Now again, if I track down one of those rare 6-point sockets that's on the larger end, I can't remember, 20, 21, 22, somewhere in there. Now, is it practical? Not really. I mean, you could, by the time you get into those sizes up there, you can use a 1/2-inch socket. Again, the reason that they were rare, if you watch my other video on the 3/8 inch 12.20 millimeter, it was legitimately to fill socket trays on displays on the latter part when they started coming out with Craftsman Industrial and the late run of Craftsman Made in the USA for stores. So they really are some bit of a rare find if you can get one of those. Let me know in the comments below if you have one of them. Again, make sure it's 6-point and 3/8 inch if it's bigger than 19 millimeter. Love to hear about it. All right, now we're into the standard set. Now I don't have as many in here because remember, I'm missing 3 of the sockets that we saw in the Craftsman catalog. I am not aware of any rare sizes above the 1-inch 6-point. If you know about it, please feel free to put the part number below, but I do indeed think that it goes from 3/8 inch up to 1 inch in this set, and that's all they ever made. All right, so starting at the bottom, we do have the 3/8 inch Craftsman. Let's see what code we've got here. This is a G1. And the part number is 433333. All right, easy does it. And next up, we have the 7/16, and that is G1, and that part number is 4333. That should be a 4. That says 43331. Let me double check on this one. Nope, it was 43333, 3/8 inch. So anyway, that was a little bit out of order because indeed, unless that was supposed to be a 4 and you can't see it, but that indeed is a 1. So anyway, actually, let's just check that real quick in the parts catalog. So if we go to standard, yeah, indeed. So this is what I was talking about. They're not always in order. So 43333 for 3/8 inch and 43331. So then it goes 2 and then 4. Why they were out of order, who knows what Craftsman was doing there. But we did verify that. That's good. Next size we've got here is 1/2 inch. This would be definitely one that gets used. Manufacturer code G1 43332. And then we go to the 9/16 series G1 43334. Hey, by the way, sometimes I say series and sometimes I say manufacturer code. Their manufacturer code is the truest correct definition. I just use them synonymously. By technicality, that is not correct. It's not a series, but it's a manufacturer code indicating, again, the manufacturer, whether it's Danaher or Kinsley, or there were a whole bunch of them, and some of them were for hand tools, some of them were for sockets. There's a great lookup on Garage Journal that has kind of the de facto of what those codes mean, and again, the date ranges. So next up, we are in the 3/4. This is G1, part number 43337. And, you know, looking at the condition of the sockets, this is the way, you know, in that case, getting moved around throughout the years, you know, it's not like a mirror perfect finish. There's some, you know, as they would call that, shelf wear. No real rust. That's not, that, I don't believe that's rust down there. That's just like when it was manufactured. I don't see that, but nothing a vapor rust couldn't fix if needed. Oh, I went a size too big there. So actually I have one before that, which is the 5/8 inch. This is G1 43335. All right, that one goes right here. And then the 3/4 was the last one that was in that set. I thought, yeah, that was, pardon me, I skipped 2. I don't know what I was doing there. So just to double check, that was the 3/4 G1 43337. This was the last one. I skipped 2 when I picked that one up. This is the 43336 G1. A little bit small right there. It's interesting how sometimes these manufacturer codes look different, you know, just from the different sockets. So if we go here, it's a little bit different. Some of the font or print or who knows how they were stamped. If anybody ever made any of these tools, I'm still waiting for somebody to come across one of these videos and, yeah, I worked in one of those plants behind the machines that were casting these things out and pressing them. And, you know, that would be really cool to hear somebody's story on it. But anyway, 11/16 G1, that goes in here. Now, that was the set I got from the case. This was one of the ones that I picked up from eBay. You can tell it's in a little rougher shape. This is a 15/16, and it is just a GK series, part number 43328. All right, so the next two in line would be the 13/16 and 7/8. So this one should be going right here. Oh, it doesn't fit. Oh, that stinks. Can it go there? Okay, so, well, for those that like the perfect looking socket trays, this is not going to be one of those cases. That means the 1 inch will go here. Where the 13/16 and 7/8 fit, there may be some gap. I could always, you know what you can do? You can just move all of them up. Why not? We'll leave the one in the front for a spare socket or an extension. That'll do just fine. And then we'll make sure. So look for a future video when I track those down. These two are really easy to get. I already have my eye on them. I can get the 13/16, 7/8 all day long. 1 inch one's a little bit here or there. Because again, some of these sockets were open stock specialty. So you're really only buying them if you really needed them, or you got one of the master mechanic sets, the ones that were thousands of dollars with the toolbox in the front of these catalogs. Like what I'm talking about here is like if you get into these sets, even though Craftsman, in my opinion, was never viewed as a professional brand, not like Snap-on, Maco, Mac, you know, things of this nature, but you could get some of these master sets that had lots and lots of sockets in them. But again, you know, like looking here, you know, like $2,200 or $2,500 and had some professional mixed in them and stuff, like 871 piece. So anyway, well, there we have it. We've got a great start. And the reason I really like this is because I'll be honest with you, in that blow molded case, I rarely would go pull those out. I would just find another socket or use a 1/2 inch or something like that. This is way overdue to get these organized, to get them out of the case and have them readily available in my toolbox. I'll stick them over there next to where the 1/2 inch ones that I showed, and then get those completed once the set's finalized. And then, like I said, maybe keep an eye out for one of those rare birds someday. That'll be a fun one to track down. Let me know if you've got this set built out. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Check out, I got a bunch of Craftsman Made in the USA videos on this channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And until next time, this is the Eclectic Handyman. We'll see you later.